Hi guys, get ready with me while I tell you how my Victoria's Secret bra made me lose one of my childhood friendships. I invited a bunch of my friends over for my 16th birthday party celebration, and I told everyone to come in dresses and like formal suits. So the birthday party goes on, and as a host, you're taking care of everyone and you're not having fun at your own party, even though it was my birthday, but I'm way too stressed taking care of everyone, making sure everyone else is having fun, everyone's fed, and all of that stuff. So my friend, let's call her Sarah. So Sarah comes up to me in the middle of the party and she tells me that she's like really uncomfortable in her dress, even though she wore like the most simple dress. It was really like a black like Skims Hoko type dress, if you know what I'm talking about. And she asked me if she can change. I'm low-key confused because like everyone's in dresses, so it would be weird if she changed because then she would be like the odd one out. But I'm like, whatever. I had way more important things to deal with because someone decided to leak my address, which is a whole different other story. So I'm like too busy like supervising everyone and making sure like everything's fine because a bunch of random people just started coming inside my house and I was way too stressed. So I tell her that she can go up to my closet because there was no way I was just about to leave my own party to go find this girl like clothes to change into. And I didn't think anything of it. So she goes upstairs and then she comes back down. And she comes down in the most expensive thing that she can find in my closet, which is my Lululemon. So I'm already like, what the hell? Who like goes into someone else's closet and chooses the most expensive thing? Like, I personally would choose something like basic, like a t-shirt or something if I was uncomfy. But she decides to wear my Lululemon and sweats while everyone else is dressed up in like Hoko dresses and formal. But I literally don't have time to care because I'm actually like running around my house. So whatever, the party ends and she lives like pretty close to me. So I'm like, like just give my stuff back whenever. Even though she low-key could have changed into her dress because she lives really close and she could have just given me back my clothes back then. But I was like, whatever. Because low-key I was getting cooked by my dad at the same time because the cops did show up because someone leaked my address. This is kind of weird to say, but whatever. Like, this bra was like one of my favorites because it was like had like lace and it was like Victoria's Secret, so it low-key was a band. It was expensive, it was nice. So the next day, like, I go looking for this bra because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wear it. And I remember exactly where I placed it because I never move it. Like, it's literally just in this like box and it's not there. So I'm like, okay, it's probably in the wash. Like, I misplaced it, like, nothing deep. So one day at school, I'm just scrolling on my phone on Instagram and I see, so the colors of my bra were green and blue. I know it's like kind of weird. And I see this girl's post, Sarah's post, and I see the strap and it's like green and blue, and usually like a lot of people don't have bras like that color, so I'm like, wait, this is sus. So then I scroll back and I look at it and it's literally my bra. She didn't even try to hide it or anything. Like, I don't know why she would post that when I literally follow her. Did she think I was not gonna find out? At first, I tried to come up with excuses like, oh, maybe she forgot. And like, yeah, it is a really nice bra, but like still. It was like maybe she like thought it was hers or like something. I don't know. So I text her and I'm like, hey girly, like this bra looks really familiar. Mine just went missing and I know you borrowed my clothes the other day. So do you mind if you can just like send me a picture real quick? Because also this bra was like limited edition. Like no one really had it. Like it's, so there's no way that she would have the same one. And plus she just borrowed my clothes and of course my bra like goes missing. So like there's literally no explanation. And she's like, hey, so this is my friend, like I borrowed it. And she comes up with a BS excuse and she's like, my friend was going to a concert later and I was wearing a strapless, so we just switched bras or whatever. And I was like, okay, like, can you just send me a picture of the, like, the size, like, the tag, because I know if it's mine or not. And later in the day, she, like, barely responds, and I, like, keep bugging her about it because I know it's mine. Like, I need it back because it was my favorite. And finally, after I bug her for so long, she sends me a picture. This picture is literally, she flipped the bra inside out because I could see the lace at the top, like, poking out because the whole front is all lacy. And it's, like, poking out, and she sends me the picture with red LED lights on, so I couldn't see the color of the bra because no one has a bra that's, like, green, neon green, and blue. And I'm like, hell nah, bro, this girl thinks I'm stupid or something. But yeah, I'm, like, really understanding because I don't want to be mean about it, like, you know. So I say, like, hey, I'm not trying to be weird or anything, but, like, I know for a fact it's mine, and I would really appreciate if you could just give it back to me because, like, it was really expensive, and if you give it back to me, I'll, like, completely forget that this ever happened. Like, I'm really nice. And her response will literally shock you. She's like, I don't know why you would ever excuse me of something like that. Like, I would never do that. That's so weird. We're literally went to preschool together. I was like, girl, bye. That's what makes it 10 times weirder. I was so nice. I literally was like, I'll forget this if you just give it back to me. I just want it back. Like, I don't care. And of course, she never responds after I proceed to spam her. And a few days later, on her Instagram, there's, like, a clear picture that she was wearing mine. And I guess this girl literally did not care that I literally follow her and I could see it. So I get so rage baited that I ended up unfollowing her because I literally could not see her posting in my bra, like, every day. So now we're not friends anymore because who does that? Who does that? Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. This is a long video, but I wanted to try something different. And let me know if you guys like these insane story times because I have so many other ones. I also wanted to add that our moms were literally pregnant with both of us together at the same time and, like, almost had us together. Like,
story time on how I found out my ex-boyfriend was cheating on me. He was my first real relationship. I was in high school, 15, 16 when I started dating him. So he went to a different high school than me, and the way that I met him is I had a friend who also went to that high school. And so she introduced us at the movie theater, and then we, like, exchanged Snapchat. Okay, so we start dating. We ended up dating for, like, a year. The year mark, that was it. That was when everything went down. I think before the year mark, my friend actually, well, she wasn't my friend. She wasn't my friend anymore. Okay, but she hits me up, and I knew it was weird because we hadn't talked and we, like, stopped being friends. She was like, hey, she also was dating a guy who went to the same high school as my ex. Okay, so she was like, hey, I went to this dance that was at the high school that my ex goes to. I don't know why I didn't go. I think I was, like, busy or something. But she was like, I went to this dance or this event or, like, whatever. And she was like, I heard these people talking about how they saw, what should we call him? Let's call him Ricky. They were talking about how, like, oh, we saw Ricky and Samantha together, like, whatever. And so she's basically telling me that she heard these girls talking at the dance or event or whatever, basically saying that they see Ricky hanging out with this girl during lunch, and they, like, leave the school. Because that school that he went to was an open campus. So basically during lunch, like, everyone is free to go wherever they want to go. Okay, so I didn't really, obviously, I was like, what the fuck? But I didn't really like this girl anymore, and she was, like, super manipulative when we were friends. I was just like, I'm gonna handle this on my own. I had a feeling that this might have been her way to, like, get back into my life or, like, be my friend again, and that's just not what I wanted. But obviously I confront Ricky, and I'm like, what the fuck? And he's basically like, I don't even know this girl, like, she's tripping, like, don't trust da-da-da, you're like not even friends with her anymore. So I was like, you know, like at a young age, it's engraved in me like men are liars. So I hit up my friend that went to the same school as Ricky, obviously. Let's call my friend Jeanette. I hit up Jeanette and I'm like, hey girl, do you know this girl? People are saying, I guess, that they see Ricky with her during lunch and they like leave together. And basically the whole rumor was that they leave lunch and go in the car. Yeah. And that's homegirl. So she was like, I got you, like, I know who this is, like, whatever. Here's where it starts getting wild. So I was like, okay, like, I just need to know if this shit is real or not. Like, Ricky was like, why don't I confront the girl? We need to give her a name. The girl's name is Angelica. He was like, why don't I confront Angelica with your friend Jeanette and basically like close this case and like prove to you that this isn't real, that this never happened. I'm like, okay, like that makes sense to me. Like they're gonna go confront her and basically say like, oh, do you know where these rumors are coming from? My friend Jeanette is gonna like peep their vibe and see if like something's actually going on or whatever. It made sense to me. I don't know. They do end up confronting her. I feel bad for her, honestly. Like they're like, do you know who's spreading this rumor? And this is from my friend Jeanette, and she would not lie to me. So I was like asking her like, okay, like how was his demeanor? And she was like, he was really serious, like, oh, like, do you know who would be saying these rumors? Like, he was, like, distraught and, like, really wanting answers to this lie. Man needs to, like, go to Hollywood and get an acting career or something. So basically, case closed. I'm like, okay, that's good enough for me, I guess. Like, so it's just a rumor. You know, like, I lived in a pretty small town, so rumors came up a lot, and a lot of them, you know, sometimes they weren't true. A rumor always sparks somewhere. I was like, okay, this is like, I want to say it was like a month before our 1 year, or maybe even 3 months before our 1 year. So basically, we keep on dating, time passes, and we're about to take, or we're taking our SATs. It's SAT season. Oh my god, I almost forgot. I don't know when this happened. I'm getting this timeline like kind of fucked up. During that time that we found out about the rumor, closed the rumor, and then, you know, kept dating, and before our SATs, he got a new Snapchat, okay? He got a new Snapchat. Back then, if you wanted to change your username on Snapchat, you had to create a whole new fucking Snapchat. I asked him, I was like, oh, like, why did you get a new Snapchat? And he was like, oh, like, I just hated my username. Honestly, I understood that because I had, like, a stupid username from when I was, like, a fucking baby. So I was like, oh, okay, and I didn't really think much of it. Oh my god, now that I'm talking about this, like, am I stupid? But when you change your Snapchat, you, like, still have the old one. You just basically, like, just got a new Snapchat. Unless there was a way to, like, completely delete it, but I don't think so. Okay, so back to the SATs. So we have to do our SATs, we finish them, and we have to log into this site that gives us our score. He didn't have a laptop or anything, so I told him, I was like, oh, I can look up your score for you on my iPad. In order to do that, he needs to give me a username and a password. I don't know what ignited my 16-year-old brain to do this. After I gave him his score or whatever, it was like late at night and something was just telling me to like log into his old Snapchat. And I wasn't even thinking that I would find anything. And with Snapchat, all you need is the password and the username. The username everyone knows because you see it on their profile. Best believe I logged into that shit. And best believe I found fucking texts with him and that girl with Angelica. And that pretty much validated the rumor. Take that as a sign and look through his phone.
Babes, I had to do a hey girly tonight and I feel really shit about it. So this guy had slid in my DMs a few days ago and was just like, hey, I wanted to let you know that I love your content. I think you're really beautiful and I think you're really hilarious. Like, keep up the good work. I was like, thanks, King. Like, have a good day. Thanks for following. He didn't have any info or pictures or anything on his TikTok. It was literally just a follow account. Clearly he was just here creeping on people and doing that, which is fine. A lot of people do that. I didn't think anything of it. And then he messaged me again the other day and was like, hey, I just want to let you know that you looked really beautiful today and I'm thinking about you. I'm like, okay, I didn't respond. Then he sends me a third message the next day, and it was a picture of him. And he was like, hey, this is me. I also live in LA and I would love to take you out sometime. Would you, by chance, ever let me take you to dinner? In the photo that he had sent, he was specifically wearing a Caterpillar brand hat. So Caterpillar, if you don't know, is the brand that's just called Cat, but it's short for Caterpillar, and it's the construction brand. It's usually like yellow and black. You can see them everywhere in the city. And so he was wearing that hat, and he was like, oh, I wore this hat for you. It's my favorite. I'm like, okay. He was like, oh, I don't have Instagram. I can send you my LinkedIn so that you know I'm a real person. I'm like, strange. Okay, we're not doing business here. He sends me his LinkedIn with his full name. I see what he does in LA. He's like a creative director of a marketing agency. I kind of don't think anything of it again, and I get busy and I don't respond. He sends me like 3 messages in a row, basically being like, I need to take you out. I can't stop thinking about your face. You're so gorgeous and hilarious. I want to take you to Mexico on a trip. Like, he's like pulling out all these big guns. I'm like, okay. I still haven't responded, right? Cut to today. I went to my local bar here in my area. It's the one that I go to all the time, and they're seating outside on the sidewalk. So I'm sitting on the sidewalk with Ollie. We're having a drink with one of my friends. I just hear this girl start like cackling, right? So I just kind of like look over, and 4 tables down, there's a girl at a table, a couple guys and girls. She's like hanging on this guy. And I'm like, oh, that's nice, it's a couple. But then I noticed the cat hat. I'm like, oh, it's another person with like a caterpillar hat. Then I look closer, and I'm like, why does that man look so familiar? I'm like, wait a minute, that kind of looks like that dude that DM'd me. I pull up the DM and I show my friend, I'm like, do you think that's the same guy? And it's a little bit dark because of like the awning and just the lighting. And she's like, oh no, that's definitely the same guy, because you can see in the photo that he has this certain tattoo right here. I'm like, oh, I guess he's on a date. Hopefully he doesn't see me. They're all loved up, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. Why is he asking me out on a date when clearly he has someone that he's dating? But maybe this is like a first date, like I'm not really sure. But my back is to them, so they can't see me. The only reason that I was able to notice them was when I heard the woman cackling and I was turned all the way around. I turned back around, I ended up going inside to get us more drinks, and I'm sitting at the bar. As I'm standing at the bar getting us drinks, that girl and her friends walk up. 2 of them are chatting and everything, and I just kind of look at them and smile. Something shines in my eye, and I'm momentarily blinded. And I look over, and I notice the girl has a huge ass engagement ring. I'm like, wait a minute. We need to do some investigatory work, Kat, because something A plus B is not equaling C plus D. Like, we need to see what's going on. So I turn to her and I'm like, oh my God, your ring is so beautiful. And she's like, oh my God, thanks. And her friend's like, she just got engaged 2 weeks ago. I'm like, oh wow, that's amazing. How long have you and your fiance been together? And she's like, oh, we've been together for 4 years. I'm like, oh, are you here with him now? And she was like, oh yeah, he's outside. I'm like, oh, is he the one that's in the Caterpillar hat? Because I love that brand because my name is Kat. And she was like, oh yeah, he loves that brand. I'm like, fuck. I was like, what's your name? Oh, I'm so-and-so. I was like, oh, cute. And then the girl introduced her name. Her friend is like, okay, come on. So-and-so and so-and-so are waiting for us. And I had looked up the guy's name, and I saw what his name was. And it was the same name that she said. I was like, oh, are those your boyfriends? And she's like, well, my fiance. And then the other girl's like, well, yeah, my boyfriend. And I was like, fuck. I'm sitting there like wondering what to do very quickly. And I just made a very split decision that I still don't know if it was the right choice. But I felt energetically and intuitively that this is what I needed to do. So I was just like, hey, I'm so sorry. This is going to sound absolutely crazy, but I think that your fiance might have DM'd me this past week. She was like, what? I was like, I'm just going to pull up this account and I'm going to show you the messages. Is that okay? And she's like, okay. And then her friend is like, yeah, there's no way. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to show you this. Like, it's probably a mistake. It's probably just someone that looks like him. So I pull it up. I show her the message, and immediately, you guys, I see on her face that it's her man. She's like, I don't understand. When were these sent to you? And I'm like, look at the timestamp. These were sent like last week and then the past few days. And the friend's like, well, can somebody be like pretending to be him? And I was like, well, they sent me his LinkedIn, and this is the LinkedIn. So the girl starts basically hyperventilating in this crowded, like, dark ass bar. And I'm like, oh God, did I make the right decision? Did I say this at the right time? I'm like, I am so sorry. And she's like, will you come with me right now? And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, yeah, girl, I got you. We walk out. My friend is looking at me like, girl, where you been at? And you don't have drinks with you. Y'all. Her and I walk up to the table, and the look on her man's face is like he just saw the coming of Christ, because the color drained from this man's face, and he was looking at us, and he was trying to play it cool, and he was just like, hey, what's up? His fiance's like, why did you tell me? Do you know who this is? And he looks at me and he's like, no, I'm sorry. Have we met? And I was like, brother, the jig is up. Like, was this not you that sent me this? And he's like, no, I've never seen this before. And then his fiance's like, oh, so you're telling me that someone made a fake account for you? And he's like, yeah, like, this isn't me. Like, I would never do this. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, but also there is a phone number. And so they look, and the phone number, sure enough, is his. I hadn't texted him or anything. He just sent me his phone number. His fiance starts like going off on him. She's just like crying. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm like thinking in my brain, is there a chance that someone is pretending to be him and has his number? Like, that seems like a really unlikely scenario. His fiance is like, the texting, this is how you text because you use ellipses and you were using ellipses here on the messages. And then he's like, can we go and talk about this? And she's like, no, I don't want to go with you. And so they stand up. Everyone is watching. It's very dramatic. They get up and leave. He's like ushering her to the car down the road. I go back and sit down with my friend. I tell her what happened. I truly feel in my heart that I did the right thing. I hope that I'm not wrong. I mean, I just gave her the information that I had, but I feel so sad for her. Like, fuck that guy. I'm a girl's girl, ride till I die. I will hey girly anyone, and I would hope that someone would have done the same for me. So that's why I did it.
Story time about how I found out that I was being cheated on. First of all, please be nice because I never post stuff like this, but honestly, it was so entertaining and I literally laugh about it now, so I feel like I should share. So for context, I started seeing this guy in October, and by January we were dating, and we were only dating for 2 weeks before I found this all out. So thankfully I found out early and got myself the hell out of there. But anyways, let's get into it. So the day that this all went down, I had clinical that day because I'm in nursing school, and he was supposed to be coming over to my house after I finished clinical. So of course I text him when I get out of clinical and I'm like, hey, just let me know like whenever you're gonna come over. So long story short, I get home, I don't hear from him for like 3 hours, and I'm like, what's going on? I check his location and I see that he's out to dinner. So I text him again and I'm like, hey, like, are you still coming over tonight? So after a little while, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna call him because maybe he's not checking his phone, and like I want to know if he's coming over because at this point it was like 9 or 10 o'clock. And he was supposed to be sleeping over, mind you. So I call him, and much to my surprise, a girl answers the phone. Perfect. She says, hello. I said, hello? She said, who is this? I said, we're gonna call him Chad. This is Chad's girlfriend. Who is this? She hangs up the phone. And I'm not exaggerating, like that is how that girl talked. And she literally sounded like she was no older than 19 or 20. And keep that in mind because that's important. Mind you, my boyfriend was 26. And normally I would literally never be mad at the girl in this situation because obviously like if she didn't know that he had a boyfriend, like that's not her fault, but just wait. So anyways, after that happens, I naturally call him back 30 times. You know, as any sane woman would do. And he doesn't answer. I'm like looking at his location. He's like driving somewhere. And then he ends up at a house. Long story short, he ends up driving back home. And once he's home, that's when he calls me back. And obviously I'm like, where were you? What is going on? Why did a girl answer your phone? Like, what is happening? When I tell you this man answered the phone so nonchalantly, like absolutely nothing was wrong. Like, hey babe, what's up? So he answers, he tells me, oh my god, I'm so sorry. We ended up going to my friend's bachelor party, which I honestly didn't think anything of because he told me that his friend's bachelor party was this weekend and he didn't know if he was gonna go or not. So he says, yeah, we ended up going. Everything just got so out of hand. Like I got so drunk, I had to leave my car in the parking lot of the restaurant. Mind you, this man is like slurring his words, like sounds very, very intoxicated. But in my mind, I was like, it almost sounds like he's like faking being drunk. And then he says that his friend, we'll call him Justin had to drive him home with Justin's girlfriend. And he says that Justin's girlfriend is the one who answered his phone when I called. Remember when I told you that the girl that answered sounded like she was 19? Yeah, well, Justin's girlfriend is 27. So I was like, that's not adding up. Like, that girl did not sound like she was 27. And like, you could so tell that this girl was young. So he says, babe, to reassure you, let me get Justin on the phone so that he can tell you. Mind you, I have met Justin before. So Justin gets on the phone and he's like, hey, what's going on? Chad, my boyfriend at the time, is like, oh, like, can you just tell Ella that, like, we were together, like, she's confused and she doesn't believe that your girlfriend's the one who answered the phone. Justin
sold the story so well. Like, I had no reason to believe that he was lying. And Justin's telling me, oh my god, all Chad can do is talk about you. Like, he likes you so much, you have nothing to worry about. And Justin says, oh, and I've heard you make amazing banana bread. And mind you, my contact in his phone was Ella Banana Bread. And that was just like an inside joke, like, it's whatever. But that was my contact name in his phone. Remember that. Anyways, him and I worked things out. We're like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna go to bed. Like, I will see you tomorrow. And this is where things start to get interesting. The next morning, I wake up at 6 a.m. with a text from this girl, and it is a screenshot from a very specific Facebook page that if you know what it is, you know what it is. And the girl's like, hey, isn't this your boyfriend? And guess who it was? It was Chad! So, the girl that he went on a date with the night before, because yes, he was on a date, he was not in the car with his friend and his girlfriend, she posted on this Facebook page and said, went on a date with this guy last night, and some girl named Ella Banana Bread was blowing up his phone the whole night while I was making out with him. And at this point, I was like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. So I quickly get on Facebook. I was not in this group at the time, but I was like, I have to get into this group and see this thread that's going on. Long story short, after messaging like 10 of the admins, I finally get admitted to the group. And when I tell you, the thread that this girl had posted had like over 200 comments in it. Some of the comments were like hating on this girl for doing that because like, why were you continuing to make out with a guy when you had a feeling that he had a girlfriend? And the other comments were from other women saying, oh my gosh, I've had experiences with this guy. Saying, yeah, he was hitting me up to come over to his house this week. Like, all sorts of stuff. It was crazy. And all the comments are like, where's Ella Banana Bread? We gotta find Ella Banana Bread. So I comment on it and I say, hey guys, Ella Banana Bread here. This man was my boyfriend as of last night. He is no longer. And after I commented on that, I start getting DMs from girls, like multiple girls saying, hey, like he was at my house or he was hitting me up this week. He told me he loved me this week. I'm sorry, what? So anyways, now that I have this all confirmed, I'm like, okay, it's time to plot. It is time to plot. And unfortunately, someone tipped him off that I had seen the Facebook post, so I wasn't able to plot. Very sad. And I go to look at his location and I see that he has unshared it with me. So I'm like, okay, he knows that I know. So at this point, I was like, you know what? I just want to get all my feelings out and say everything that I want to say. Mind you, for context, this man literally begged me to be his girlfriend. Begged me. Like, he had to ask me multiple times. I said no multiple times. And then finally, I was like, okay, like, whatever, fine. So I'm like, why did you beg to be my boyfriend just to cheat on me? It's not making sense. Anyways, so I call him. I go off on him. There was, like, another piece of the story that I cannot share, but it was really, really bad. And I had to call him and, like, talk to him about it. So yeah, that's basically the story of how I found out I was being cheated on. And honestly, like, it's funny. It's funny. Especially because I was, like, not super invested in the first place. Like, it's genuinely just funny because what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Anyways, I say this all because as a woman, you should absolutely always, always, always trust your gut. Like, we literally have a sixth sense that is like our intuition, and it tells us when things are off. And I knew from the absolute moment that I met this man that there was something off with him, and I continued on and I ignored it so many times. And this just all could have been avoided if I had just listened to my gut.
Story time about how I caught my boyfriend cheating on me on Discord. Okay, so basically, he had cheated on me like a couple of times, and he was doing so good. Like, he was being such a good boy for like 2 months. And I got really suspicious because I would go through his phone and time after time, I was just finding nothing and nothing and nothing. And me and Haley had so much hope that he had changed, right, Haley? Mm-hmm. Like, we genuinely thought he was locking in. Before I found that, we thought he was locking in. We were like, wow, like, character development, like, people change. People change. So, yeah, so I was going through his phone, and then I was like, I don't know, something in me told me to, like, go to Discord, right? And I don't know what it was. Like, something in my genuine soul was telling me, like, click Discord. Mind you, I have no idea how to work Discord. Like, I barely know what Discord is. Like, he would always, like, say he was hopping on Discord calls with his boys and stuff. And I was like, okay, like, I assumed it was something to do with gaming. And I'd, like, tapped it, like, once or twice before, but, like, it, like, didn't seem, like, relevant to me. I was like, I don't care about Discord. So
I told him I was hungry because I was suspicious, like something was off, and like a woman's intuition never lies. So I was really suspicious, and I was like, oh, like, can you go warm me up some food? And like a dummy, he leaves his phone. First mistake, never leave me alone with your phone. So he left his phone, and immediately I go to Discord. No, I go through it, and there's nothing. And like something in my gut's just telling me, like, bro, like, he's cheating. Like, he's cheating on you. And I thought it was just like, you know, like PTSD from getting cheated on before. So I was like, I was trying to gaslight myself, but I was like, you know what? Let me go through Discord. So I have no idea how to work Discord. I hop on the app, and I figure out how to, like, go from, like, server to server, I guess, or, like, look at the chats, because, like, I had no idea how to work it. And then I just see, like, he's texting, like, random accounts, like, Kitty Skittles, like, 2007. Like, it was something like that. And I was like, okay, Kitty Skittles. I click it, and he's like, hey, cutie. Kitty Skittles did not answer. And I was like, oh, whatever. And then there was another one, and it was like, I don't remember the other one. She wasn't relevant. Kitty Skittles will come, like, in clutch later. Like, we're gonna worry about Kitty Skittles later. So, Kitty Skittles did not answer, but he texted another one. He's like, hey. And they answered, and they were like, hey. He's like, what are you doing, cutie? What? Like, what? Like, you gotta be fucking with me. Like, on Discord. That's where we're getting our play. So I start flipping out, and he comes downstairs, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing? And I had taken pictures of it on my phone. So I was like, what are you doing? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, Discord. Like, you just need to understand the pure rage. Because, like, I had his Snap, I had his Insta, like, I would go through his, like, number, like, his phone number shit. And I just never, like, in my wildest dreams, imagined that Discord would ever be an issue. So I ended up forgiving him because I was like, you know what, like, at least he didn't do anything physical. First mistake. It doesn't matter how it is. It doesn't matter if it's emotional, if it's micro, if it's anything. If they're willing to do that shit to you, not worth it. Which is a lesson learned. Like, I know that now. Like, character development, I guess. Like, everyone need to go through it. But anyways, a while passes, and I'm, like, going through my camera roll, and I find the screenshots again, and I'm just like, damn. Like, so I look at them, and I'm like, hold on. I saw that, like, they were on a mutual server. Like, both of the girls, like, when he chatted with them, like, on the top it was like, there's a mutual server. So I'm like, what is this mutual server? And I, like, screenshot the pic, and I zoom in. And wait, I'm gonna insert a pic. So Gooners unite. And I was like, what's a goon? Like, what does that mean? Like, I thought, like, when I read Gooners, I was like, maybe it's, like, trolls. Like, maybe it's, like, a trolling thing. So, obviously, I went to Urban Dictionary, and I looked up, like, what's a gooner? I don't know if y'all know what gooners are, but I wish I never did. So, gooning is basically, like, honestly, if you want to know, go Urban Dictionary it. If you know, you know. So, yeah. He was on a server called that. And I was like, no way. I was just like, no. Like, that's not possible. Like, that's not real. Like, that's not, like, a thing. So, what do? I go and I download Discord, obviously. Mind you, I'm, like, using ChatGPT to help me navigate how Discord works, because I still have no idea how Discord works. Oh, excuse me. And I was a little stressed out, but eventually ChatGPT gave me all the answers I was looking for. Did I not pack my setting spray? I swear to God, I put my setting spray in here, right? I grabbed the setting spray and I threw it in here. Wait, one sec. So I'm, like, using ChatGPT to tell me, like, how to use Discord, and then I add one of the girls he was texting on this so-called Gooners Unite. So I add her, and she adds me back, like, really quick, and I'm like, hey girl, like, my boyfriend was texting you and you never answered. This is the Skittles girl that never answered. And I was like, yeah, like, you never answered, but, like, what was the server? And she was confused for a sec, and then, like, I just broke it all down to her. I was like, this is what happened. This was the server. I sent her pictures of us. I was just like, I just, like, deadass need to know the truth. And she was like, oh, like, that's a server.
Have you guys ever had a friend that lies so much that they just start believing their own stories? I had a friend like this who would lie all the time, and I didn't even realize it was this bad until this happened. Buckle up, please. So I had met this girl a few years ago and I loved her. I thought she was awesome. I considered her one of my best friends. Like, at a certain point in my life, we would have sleepovers, we would go on trips, you know, side quests. I thought she was awesome. One day, she collectively tells our whole friend group that she's being sent away to a camp. I don't know what I can say on TikTok, but, like, you know. We're all freaking out. Because what do you mean? What do you mean? We're not going to see you, like, for months. What do you mean you're getting sent away to a camp? She tells us the time and the date that she's getting sent away. That day approaches, and she says she's getting sent away at 3 a.m. sharp. They're coming to get her. So we're all sitting there texting her, like, wishing her good luck, like, trying to get more answers. We're just really confused. We're saying our goodbyes, you know. The clock hits 3. She's no longer active on any social media, and radio silence. We've all assumed she is now being taken to this camp. Also, I would like to preface that we were young. Like, this was, like, beginning of high school type of stuff. Like, we were young girls. So, it's now the next day. We're all waking up, and she has posted on her story, which is really confusing because you're supposed to be at the camp. What are you doing? Her story is, hey guys, I'm so sorry, I just fell asleep. You just fell asleep. I thought, okay. So yeah, she never got sent to a camp. I'm not really sure. Maybe she was told she was going to be sent to one. I don't really know. I don't know the whole context, but when I continue the story, you're gonna realize why it's hard to believe that this wasn't just made up. A few months go by and everyone has forgotten about the whole thing. We're all just going on with our lives like normal. This girl starts to tell us that she's having a lot of relationship problems. Her boyfriend is cheating on her, essentially. She'll come and talk to us about it, be like, yeah, he's cheating on me with someone who looks nothing like me. Which we all felt so much sympathy for her because this is a horrible thing to go through. One of my best friends, my other best friend, had been cheated on, like, very, very recently during this time period. And so it was like, she knew exactly how she felt. We were all just there for her. She keeps posting screenshots on her story about how this guy is just, like, begging for her to come back, please, like, I'm sorry, it didn't mean anything, like, please, I didn't mean to cheat, begging for her back, like, basically on his knees. What we had been told about this guy was that he was, like, a family friend of hers, and she used to live somewhere different, so we didn't really know who he was, like, we had just heard about him through her. We decided to look his ass up, because ain't no way you're gonna come around here and cheat on our friend. Hell no. We look up his name on Snapchat, and the craziest thing pops up. Instead of his name on his snap, it was people you may know and her name. On Snapchat, if you have your contacts linked and stuff, their name will come up. Even if they make another account, their same contact name will come up. So it's her name over the Snapchat, so we're really confused. Same Bitmoji, same username, just the name at the top is her name. Things are starting to sound really suspicious. We decided to dig a little bit deeper, because we're young girls and we want to know. She ends up showing us a picture of this guy and the girl he cheated on her with. We're looking at the picture, nothing seems to be out of the ordinary, it's just a picture of a guy and a girl. Except it wasn't. The picture she had used was one of my friend's ex-boyfriends with his new girlfriend. I can't make it up. She's going around showing everyone this picture of her boyfriend cheating on her, but it's my friend's ex with his new girlfriend, you know, whatever. Earlier in the year, we had asked her for, like, where does he live? Like, we're gonna jump, you know, like, basic girl stuff. Like, we're gonna get him. Ah! She gave us an address. It was the address to our, like, local eye doctor. I don't know. We end up confronting her. I can't remember who did it or when, but someone had asked her why she is showing this picture. Like, why are you showing this picture of our friend's ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend, saying that it's your ex-boyfriend? Her excuse for showing the picture was that if we actually saw him, we would all try and go for him. He was just so attractive that if she showed the real picture, we would have all tried to slide in. So dumb. So at this point, we're so done. We're like, you literally, I can't. It was like, we didn't even know her anymore. Like, you're making all this stuff up. You never had a boyfriend. She was texting herself. Like, I don't know if this is 100% true, but one of my friends said she literally saw her, like, text herself and then, like, switch accounts. in class. I almost feel bad telling the story, but she was so horrible to me and my other friends, so like, I don't care. When all is said and done, don't do that shit. You are so privileged that nothing goes on in your life that you have to lie about these extremes. I don't know what she's doing now. I don't care to know, but if you end up seeing this, sorry, it's just a really funny story.
So imagine your husband and his brother work together, okay? You're married, okay? You have kids with this man, you know his entire family, and they both work together. They've been working together for years, and then you find out that your husband has been cheating on you with someone at work. And your brother-in-law knew, because guess what? They would go hang out after work to go get drinks with the coworkers, and one of the coworkers was the one that was cheating with your husband. So obviously you're pissed because now you know that your brother-in-law knows, and now you're thinking, I'm pretty sure my sister-in-law knows, which is his wife, right? And you're starting to think, does everybody know? So you confront your brother-in-law in front of your husband, in front of his wife, and you tell him, did you know that your brother was cheating on me this whole time? And your brother-in-law tells you, you know what, that's your guys' business. I already talked to him. I told him that he was doing wrong, but what do you want me to do? That's my brother. So then you look at your sister-in-law and you ask her, did you know? Did he tell you this? And your sister-in-law tells you, yeah, he actually did tell me what your husband was doing, but I didn't feel like it was my place to tell you. Now you're thinking you and your sister-in-law are cool, okay? You're thinking you guys are like really close friends, family, you guys help each other out with kids, and now you're like, what do you mean it was not your place to tell me? And you know that the fucking problem is you're cheating as husband, right? You know that that's the main problem, that you really shouldn't be mad at nobody else but your husband. But that's family, right? You're thinking like, we're cool, we're all cool. How is my own sister-in-law not gonna tell me? But then that's his brother. So are they obligated to tell you anything? Don't ever think that your husband's family is gonna protect you over him. In some rare cases, maybe. But that's his family. What do you expect? But has this happened to you? What would you do? Would you be so upset at your sister-in-law, your brother-in-law? Like, what would you think? How would you react? Has this happened to you? Let me know. Okay, so imagine that you get married young, okay? And obviously you and your husband do not have shit. And you have a baby right away. So within the first years of you being married, your husband is the only one working, and you do everything in your power to make sure that you guys save. That you guys save and that you guys don't overspend, and you do not ask for nothing, okay? You don't ask for dates. You don't ask for your nails to get done. You don't ask for your hair. You don't ask for nothing. You just save, cook, do very minimum stuff so that you guys can save money to buy a house. You manage to save enough money within like 3-4 years to put a down payment for a house. You guys move into your new home. You don't overspend in furniture. You don't overspend nothing. You have another kid. Everything's fine. Like, you're managing everything and you guys are surviving. You still continue to save. And then one day your husband tells you like, hey, I need a new truck. My truck is a little older, and mind you, you have a little beat up little Honda that you just used to go to the store and stuff. So you agree. You're like, you know what? You do deserve a new truck. Go get a new truck. He gets a new truck and he's driving around town like he's a hot shit, right? Because he has this nice looking new truck. Then he tells you that he wants to put some nice rims on it. And you're like, okay. He put some nice rims on it. Then you start noticing that he starts to go out to drink with his friends after work. And you're like, but wait, you're spending too much money. Like, we're not supposed to spend money like that. I don't even spend money like that. Like, come on. And he's like, no, like, I work hard. I should be able to spend. You guys kind of bicker about it, but whatever. Like, you give in and you still try to do your best to, make it with the money that he makes and buy food and buy everything for the kids and just survive. So by this, you're already like 27, 28 years old, okay? You don't have friends. You don't go out. You don't do nothing for yourself. All you do is stay home, cook, take care of the kids, take care of the house. That's all you do. And then you find out this motherfucker is cheating. And then you find out that when he used to put gas in the truck, he used to get cash back and give that fucking bitch money. So you find out he's cheating because you go through his phone, and on the messages you see him promise seeing this girl the fucking world. Like, he's gonna buy her this purse, and he's gonna buy her these shoes, and he's gonna pay for that, and whatever she wants, he's paying for it. And you're at home not spending a fucking dime to help this motherfucker out. So then you get your shit and you go to your mom's. You're like, fuck you, I'm leaving. So you leave to your mom's. He's calling, he's begging you to come back home, and he's like telling you that it was a mistake, whatever. So your dumbass decides to give him another chance, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna give him another chance. You come back home and you tell him, okay, from now on, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, like, we're gonna do things my way. Goes on for a couple months, and then you find out the motherfucker's cheating again with the same fucking girl. So then you decide to say, you know what, I want the divorce, I'm out. You guys sell the house, you guys divide the money, you guys each go your separate ways. By then your kids are older, so you're like, okay, whatever, like, it's fine. But then the motherfucker fucking moves in with the girl he cheated on you with, and then he gets that girl fucking pregnant, and then he buys this girl a nicer house than the one you had, and then you find out he's working 2 jobs to be able to afford that fucking girl. And then you find out this girl's walking around with long extensions, her nails done, her hair, everything's done. She got a nice car. And this fucker looks old as fuck because he's killing himself working double to be able to financially afford this fucking girl. While you wasted your younger years doing everything you could to save money so that that motherfucker could provide for you. Saying no, you know, putting your wants aside, being super, super simple. Yep. I know we've all heard stories like this. Like, what is that saying? There's a saying where, like, I forgot what it's called. Someone could put it on the comments. But where, like, you leave the worst version of, like, you have the worst version of them, and then someone else gets the best version of them. Some fucking guys are stupid as fuck because they have it easy. Like, they have chill, nice wives that don't fucking give them problems, that don't fucking be asking for too much, and they fucking ruin that to get a fucking crazy ass gold digging ass bitch. And that's fucking karma right there. Yep, that's karma. So imagine you find out your husband is cheating on you with someone that's double your age. Yeah, you're 25 and this person is in her 50s. Story time. So your husband is a warehouse manager, and he's 20 years old, and he's like really growing in his career, and you know, of course, you're supporting him, and obviously he has to work a lot of hours because normally when you're a manager, that's what happens. You know that he has to be in contact with a lot of people, women and men, you know, because he has employees, he has different staff, you know, people that he has to work with. But you don't pay no mind because you have no reason to not trust them. So in his warehouse, he had a staffing agency that would help him, you know, fill the positions that he had open. And the people that would work there, the ladies that would work there, they would come and check in often to see how the employees were doing and what, you know, he needed. Well, he ended up building a relationship with one of the ladies from the agency because that was like his main connection. And apparently they got really close. Your husband actually talks to you about her, like, you know, he mentions her here and there, and he tells you like how, you know, when she's fucking up or issues that they've had or just situations that have happened, and you hear her name all the time, but you just never assume shit because one time you ask him like, oh, how old is this lady? And he tells you, oh, she's old, like she's in her 50s. So you're like, okay, whatever. And when you hear her age, you actually are relieved because you're like, oh, okay, at least it's someone older that's not gonna do anything stupid, you know, like you're more worried about like a younger person being around your husband. But the fact that it's an older lady, you're like, whatever, you know, like it doesn't even cross your mind. And then your husband really starts working overtime. Like there's days where he comes home like late nights, doubles, you know, like really bad. And one day he tells you that he's gonna go out to eat with his friends from work. And he had already been doing this a couple of times, but again, you're not really paying attention to it because you know it comes with the job. But for some reason, this last time he tells you, you feel something weird. Like, I don't know. You just get that feeling, right? So you decide to start checking his shit. He left his laptop at home. So you decide to go through his laptop. And you go through his emails. And you notice that there's this lady constantly emailing him. And it's not even work related. It's like, hey, are you in? Hey, are you busy? Hey, I miss you. Hey, where are you? So you're like, okay. And you look at the name of this person and it's the fucking bitch from the agency. So you're like, okay. So then you start going through call logs. You start going through like the things that you could go through without having his actual phone. And you pretty much put two and two together that they're messing around. But you don't want to say nothing until you have like actual proof. So then he comes home that night and you could tell he's a little drunk, he falls asleep, and you grab his phone. You go through his phone and you find all kinds of shit. You find nudes, you find videos, you find all kinds of nasty ass messages between them, to the point where they're like planning a whole fucking life together, telling each other that they love each other. Like, this had been going on for like 2 years. It's not just a little, just fucking around at work kind of stuff. Like, it's a whole ass relationship. And this bitch is twice your age. She's not ugly. She's not an ugly lady, but she's twice your age. So you decide to wake him up and slap the shit out of him, and you confront him about it, and he denies everything. He says that it's not that serious, that it's just, because of work, and that, he'll cut it off, that it's not that big of a deal. And you're like, no, like, this is not okay. The next day you decide to confront her, and she basically tells you he don't even fucking like you. He's just with you because of the kids. Like, he don't even want to be with you. He wants to be with me. So you're like, oh, hell no, right? So you basically give your husband an ultimatum. Either you leave your job or we break up. And he decides to leave his job. But eventually you end up finding out that he's still talking to her. That this lady is like the love of his life, okay? And he ends up going with her. Like, you guys get separated. He goes and bees with this lady, okay? He has a whole relationship with this lady. And then a couple years later, they end up breaking up.
I fucking love when girlies are like, I'm in my villain era. Courtney, we know you're literally such a bitch. You have been in your villain era. You don't have to tell us.
Not proud, but lesbian enough to say it. Here's my very popular demanded coming out on how I realized I was a lesbian at the big age of 18 story time. Didn't actually think I'd make this video, but it's Pride Month, so in honor of Pride Month, here's my messy story time. So growing up, I never really had like crushes on boys or anything like my friends did. I was like 10 or 11, and I just thought this girl in my class was like so pretty, and I remember she was like my fast little crush. Then like a year later, I had my fast little kiss, quote unquote, like little mwah in the church bathroom with her. I really knew that I liked girls, and apparently so did everybody else, because I got bullied so bad. Like, literally from being like 10 years old, I was always like friends with more boys than girls. I was like a tomboy. A lot of the girls bullied me and they would call me a lesbian, and I didn't really grasp what that was because I grew up with not very woke parents. When I went to high school, I was like determined to not get bullied again, so I kind of repressed it and I kind of forced myself to have a crush on like the most feminine boy I'd ever seen. Friends would always like offer to ask this boy out for me. They were like, do you want me to go tell him you like him? Do you want me to give him a note? And I was like, no, please. 13, and I got introduced to this girl who was queer, and I was like head over heels for her. She was like my first big crush. She was a lot more educated on like queer and LGBT, so she kind of educated me, and I was like, oh, I'm not weird for this. Like, this is an actual thing. Like, I've been dating this girl for a couple months, and I really wanted to tell my parents. So I started like dropping little hints to like scope them out and see how they'd feel about it. They were not cool. I realized very quickly they were not chill with it. They did eventually find out, and they were like low-key kind of mad, and they were just like, oh, it's attention seeking, it's a phase, it'll go away, don't talk about it. And I think it was just about to turn 14, I don't really remember. As a lot of you guys know, I ran away from home, so I ran away from my homophobic parents, largely because they found my diary, and they found out that I was dating a girl, and like that I was queer, and they were so mad. I was kicked out, and I also had to run away. It was 50-50. I was adopted a little while after I ran away and stuff, and I found a place to settle, and I did not want to tell my adopted parents because I didn't know if they'd be chill with it. I was so scared, and my adopted parents are like on the older side too, and I was like, they're not gonna accept me. Like, kind of end up dating this boy who I was friends with. He liked me, and I was like, you know what, sure. So I have my first boyfriend. He turned out to be the worst boy I could have possibly picked. Now, when I tell you, this man was so insanely in love with his ex, and his ex-girlfriend was in my art class. He talked about his ex-girlfriend so much that I fell in love with her. I eventually split up with him, and I'm like, I'm so obsessed with this girl. I would like look at her, I was like, oh my god, she's so pretty. All my friends knew. I eventually confessed to them, and they're like, bitch, we know. And we had like a situationship, and she was my first like real girl that I dated, because I was like 15, so I was old enough to like, you know, we like kissed. I kissed a girl, like, you know, crazy. We were 15, it was all so traumatic, and like, I don't know this girl now, but like, we were 15, obviously, and she kind of tried to, she said that she liked femmes, but she kind of tried to make me a mask of it. I kind of started to feel a bit like, I'm not really gonna find a girl if I'm also a femme, like, that's just not gonna happen. And it really fucked me up, and I'd never been fucked up about a boy. And this is kind of how I realized how much more I like women than men. Finding out I like women was never a struggle for me, I'd always known. It was finding out I didn't like men. At this point, I've been adopted for like 2 years, and I decided I'm gonna tell my adoptive mom, because we're very close. Kind of conservative, they didn't really grow up with anything like this. So it was understandable, but when I told her, she kind of said, she was like, the classic, you know, I don't hate gay people, I just don't want that for you. I just know you're not a lesbian. So I end up trying to suppress the feelings for girls, and I lose my V card to my best friend. And it was honestly a good experience. Like, I'm really glad I lost it to someone that I really loved. Not romantically, but we had a really great friendship, so it was, like, worth it. The moment that I started college, I met an older guy. He was so sweet and so funny, and I ended up with him. He liked me, and I went, you know, sure. And you guys knew him. We were together for around 2 years. We were together for, like, most of my teen years. People used to comment on our relationship all the time because none of our families, no one we knew could comprehend our dynamic because we were, like, best friends. Like, there was no kissing, there was no any intimacy. It was so platonic. Made me start to really question my life was he was like, do you want to move in with me? We've been together for 2 years. And I was like, yeah. And then I realized he meant together as, like, a couple and not in, like, separate rooms like roommates. Otherwise, I'd never really had romantic love. And I started to realize I wanted it. I was like, I feel like I'm missing out. Relationship. I've never been on a date. I've never had, like, any form of actual emotional intimacy. I've loved people, but I've never been in love with anyone. Holding on to this idea, I have to like boys. I have to like boys. So I end up casually dating this boy, who you guys know too. And I'm casually dating him. He was one of my friends. He ended up liking me, and I went for it. And he was sweet. And every time he opened his mouth, I wanted to put a fucking gun in mine. I was miserable! My dating history with men, I've always gone for quite, like, feminine men. Very conventionally attractive, like, tall, built guy. And I've never been so unattracted to someone in my life. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I've been casually dating this guy for, like, maybe 2 months. I have this fucking breakdown to my mom, and I'm like, I'm so unhappy. I'm gonna leave him. And she's like, Jules, are you a lesbian? You're a lesbian. And I was like, what do you mean I'm a lesbian? She's like, I just know. And she just says to me, she's like, I will find it difficult to wrap my head around. I can't comprehend 2 girls liking each other, but I'm accepting. Gorgeous growth moment from her, where she's just, like, ascended, and she's, like, learned so much, and she's become so much more progressive. I start researching, and I discover Comhet, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I've never heard of this. And I suddenly start to realize I'm not experiencing, like, bisexuality, I'm experiencing a lot of internalized homophobia. I will say it, boys come to me, and so it was easier. Girls, however, I've never had a girl have a thing for me. And I really didn't think I would ever be able to. And I started speaking to my friends about it, kind of soft launching. They were like, babe, we know. I was the last person to know. And then long story short, one of my best friends breaks up with her long-term boyfriend. We start spending a lot of time together because she'd been broken up with and everything. And I realized I'm a fucking lesbian. I'd always been this avoidant girlfriend. I hated being touched. I hated spending time with people. I'm such an alone person. I need to be alone in my room all the time. I don't enjoy people's company. I have spent every single day of my life with this girl since this day. I didn't want a relationship. I was like, I need to figure myself out. Like, I've kind of been with boys for so long. I don't know where I stand. But unfortunately, when you're not looking for a relationship, the perfect one shows up every fucking time. The more I realized I'd been really into her for a long time, like, the way that we talked to each other, it was so platonic, but it wasn't really. Like, we realized that I like being touched. I like romantic love. I like sweet things. I love attention. I love loving people. It's not me, it was the men. I wasn't avoidant. I was just a lesbian. And I was like, you know what? If I don't come out now, I'm not going to do it. So I came out, and I came out on social media, and it was fucking terrifying. My parents know. My parents know that I've been casually dating a girl, and they really like her. And it makes me really happy, and it's so sweet to see how much they've grown. I put myself through so much unnecessary drama with men and pain dating men when I didn't even like them. I deprived myself of so many beautiful experiences because I wasn't ready to accept myself, and I think that's why I wanted to make this video. Concept that a girl likes me is also crazy to me, and like, bro, she's so pretty, and she fucking, why does she like me? I don't know, but she does. These past few months, I have felt the most myself I have in my entire life. I hate the fact that I deprived myself from this for so long, but you know what? It was not as scary as I thought. I came out, no one said anything. I had a couple people. I mean, I'm any less valid for realizing I like women. It just took me a little bit longer, and it might take you a while too, babe. Have like opened my eyes. A woman has opened my eyes. So, life update, story time, and happy Pride Month, guys.